first step would be to expose the seat bolt. And sometimes this might be a star bit you might need, but in this case we just have a 14mm socket, and we're going to remove the seat bolt. And then we're going to need to lift the seat. So we just get something under here to leverage it. And here's where we got some different options. The seat is attached to the floor of the car. In some cases, this bracket might be coming in a vertical way. So you would have to use the 90-degree angle and attach to this in this orientation. In our case, the floor is somewhat at a 45-degree angle, or a slight angle. So we're going to actually attach it in this way. And then this piece is always going to be used to attach to this part of the bracket, or if we had a vertical alignment, it would be attached to this part of the bracket, and we'll screw it in right to those bolts. Since the seat is more of a 45-degree angle, we're going to use the 45-degree angle part. That's going to go right in here. We'll put the seat back down, and then we're going to reattach our seat bolt. And then we're going to just put the seat and attach it back to the floor of the car. I don't know if I got the right part again. I do. Good. This is our angle adjust, and depending on the space that you have here and how much space you have laterally, this allows the hand control to be adjusted either lower to the floor, higher to the floor, or you'll be able to adjust the angle in later steps. Right now we just want to try to get it to fit about where we think it would fit best. And we're just going to set this level for right now. And then we want to do a snug tight, but not a complete tight, because we're going to make adjustments later on. Further adjust this angle. Next up is to attach the main base to the hand control itself.
Step 4.
Step 4. It's going to be installed like this, and you'll notice that it can slide a little bit, and this will give us a little more opportunity later on if we need to make any more minor adjustments. For right now, we're just going to and again, we'll be able to slide this a little bit, so that can give us some opportunity for adjustments later on down the road. Right now, we're just going to hand tighten it. Now that we've got the base attached to the hand control, we're going to attach this to the seat adjust. And again, there's a number of different possibilities because we have different holes. We could have it higher, or we could have it lower, or we can move it in or out, and actually it'll actually be able to turn a little bit depending on how we install it. So cantilever this depending on the installation, and once you have it centered, then you would go ahead and tighten it down. Installing the gas sleeve, and here we're just wanting to attach this rod in here, and then we're going to use the nut to lock it in place. Now, and the rod itself extends in here, so later on we can adjust the length of the sleeve back and forth by removing this nut and letting this slide back and forth. Depending how much clearance we have between the gas pedal and this and the sidewall, we can install the clamp in this orientation, or if it doesn't fit in that direction, because there's not enough room here, we could put it in this orientation. Since we have enough room on this side, we want to have as much clearance as we can from this control arm from the brake pedal. We're going to end up installing it in this orientation. And you can also note that later on there are adjustments here we can make, so we can raise or lower where the control arm goes on the pedal. And essentially what we're going to end up doing here is this rod will end up pushing the gas pedal down. So when we're all set, it's going to work like this. And now we're going to just hand tighten this part down. And then we're going to be able to get a sense of the measurement we need for how this arm goes into the sleeve. And we can see that the sleeve is much too long, so we're going to have to cut right about here. We're going to remove about 4 or 5 inches of the sleeve right around here, so we'll have to cut that much off. And you're always better off to cut a little less than you need than too much, because you can't put it back once you cut it off. The kit also comes with these 2 small screws, and in some cases the gas pedal itself will be rounded on the bottom, and that would cause this to tilt. So if you want to set it in place firmly, you basically just use these and you'll screw those into the rubber of the gas pedal, and that'll that'll correct any wobbling that's taking place. So at this point we've cut this part off so we can make this the proper length, and now we're going to put the arm into the sleeve, and then we're going to mount this back onto the gas pedal. And this is going to give you a sense of how this operates at this point. So now, length of the threaded rod. If we still need to make minor adjustments to the length here, we can make those adjustments by releasing more of the thread, because this threaded rod goes all the way in here. So we could still make some adjustments once we have it to the correct space. Then we would just tighten that down. And I'm just putting the brake pedal sleeve in place. Once it's seated in, we're just going to lock it down. And note that the threaded rod again goes through here, so if we need to make adjustments to the length of this overall, we'll be able to adjust the length of the threaded rod. Depending on the width of the brake pedal arm, this part essentially is going to go on here like this. And so you'll either use this one or this one. In our case, we're going to use this one. Going to put it on there, and we're going to so now we've got the clamp attached to the brake pedal arm, and you can see we've got a lot of different adjustments here. We can adjust this part up and down. We've got all these different screws where we could move this whole unit back and forth, and then we have also additional adjustments for this part, so we can have it go here, 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 all the way up and down the arm. And it's all designed with a lot of flexibility, because we're going to be putting this in here. The sleeve is going to go in there, And what we're trying to do is to find the optimal location where this sits. You can move this in a lot of different orientations. But for right now, we're just going to hand tighten that and get a sense of how this is applying the gas. And then we'll tighten it later, but get a sense of how the brake pedal is going to be applied. If we need to make this wider, because this is bottoming out here where your knuckles are, it's just a matter of making a final adjustment here. Tighten it down, and then editing scene in here so you can see how my knuckles are hitting here. So I'm making this adjustment. And you can see.
Nice.
So this is our stabilizer platform, and there's a lot of different ways this can be installed. In this case, our system is actually not wobbly at all, so we really don't need this. But if this was mounted much higher, we would need to use the stabilizer, and it can be installed many different orientations. If this was up higher, you know, this would go in here, this would go in here, and this would go in here, and it would end up mounting like this. But in our case, we just need to mount it quite low. And you can see now it helps to support the entire installation.